At Sydney Airport, Customs are searching the bags of an Australian passenger returning from a trip to Syria.
Did you travel anywhere from there? Did you do any other travel?
Like in Syria. Just in Syria.
Have you got anything in your pockets as well? Wallet, phone?
My wallet, my phone's in there.
Bag is fine.
Customs officers need to be very thorough when conducting a search of a passenger's belongings.
So what else do you do? Gym?
Yeah, a lot of gym.
Not a gym?
And they also need to ask questions that will help them risk assess the passenger.
Gym? So you're into the bodybuilding or?
Yeah. No, we're just keeping fit.
Fit.
Yeah.
Do you know what's in here?
Yeah, just letters and stuff.
Letters?
Letters and it's private stuff for my mum, for my auntie.
I'd have to open them. Okay, I need to see what's inside them. Okay, I'll be as gentle as I can.
Yeah, it's just...
Now Supervising Officer Clorinda arrives. While the passenger seems to be keeping a close eye on what's going on.
But these are all
Vitamins?
What are they?
What?
I don't know, is that...
Yeah, it's all presents from the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just thought...
I don't know what they are.
It was like pills.
He claims that family members in Syria packed some of his bags.
Why would they send this back?
I have no... What the hell? I have no idea.
Many international smugglers try to use the mail service to get illegal goods across the border. But officers are always watching and waiting, and today a package arriving from Indonesia has aroused interest.
It's come from a country of interest to us, and I can see down there clearly an organic substance. If I magnify the view, I can see that there's, larger items of interest to us. And once we get too big, then it becomes, there's some quite substantial objects in there that are organic that aren't part of the electronics. I'm interested enough now in this package that I'm going to take it away and examine it further, that it needs that secondary inspection. I've had the package opened by Australia Post, and from here on in, I'm going to be very careful about how I deconstruct the package and see what's inside. I want to find out what it is.
Tens of thousands of passengers enter Australia each day, and it's the job of all officers to make sure passengers' intentions match their visas. Today, a passenger arriving from Thailand has told officers that he's here to work, and that's created a problem.
Customs spoke to him at the back of the hall and he told them that he's come to Australia to work. The problem is he's on a tourist visa, which has a no work restriction, a no work condition. So they've referred him from the back of the hall for us to have a chat to him. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions regarding your travel to and your proposed stay in Australia. And the reason why I'm asking you these questions is that I need to establish the reason why you've come to Australia and that those reasons are consistent with the conditions of your visa. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're here to work in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, and what type of role?
My type of role, I'm an industrial painter. Paint steel work.
The passenger says he has been in contact with someone from an employment agency in Adelaide who told him that they would be able to find him work in Australia.
Has he explained the process behind applying for sponsorship in Australia?
Well, not particularly, really, no. He didn't really say that much. He just said that he would sort everything out.
So he's an agent?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was all done through the internet?
Yeah.
Okay, have you spoken to him over the phone?
No, I haven't spoken to him over the phone.
And is he meeting you at the airport today?
Well, I hope so, yeah, because I sent him an email, yeah.
Is he in Sydney?
No, he's in Adelaide, I think.
In Adelaide as well.
The passenger doesn't seem to understand that if the agent is in Adelaide, that's a long way from Sydney Airport.
I don't know whether he's outside waiting for me.
Okay.
But now the officer has another concern.
And how much money do you have with you today?
In Thai baht, I've only got 1,500 Thai baht.
1,500 Thai baht?
Yeah. About £8 coins in English money.
£8 £28. Do you have credit cards, EFTPOS cards?
No.
So this is the only money you have on you?
With barely $70 to his name, this passenger's stay in Australia could be a lot shorter than he anticipated. In Sydney, the search continues as officers find some unusual items on an increasingly nervous passenger.
What is it?
Suspect or something?
Sorry?
More suspect or something?
No. We're just searching. We do quite a lot of searches. If you look around you, there's lots of people being searched. There's lots of people waiting in the line to be searched.
So this is what you're...
Like this, like most, all these are prisons. Like these
Go
are...
and get some. What are these tablets, mate?
I have no idea what they are.
Redact.
Reader.
Who are they for?
They were in...
Officer Clorinda has decided to X-ray one of the packages. The X-ray isn't conclusive.
Looks like there's a few little spots, so I'll get them open and make sure there's no pills or any tablet forms in between the CDs, but yeah.
However, Clorinda returns to an unexpected development at the bench.
He just grabbed a bundle of underpants and threw them in the bag, and there's a bag of pills there.
Where?
There. And they were wrapped in the underpants. I said, what are they? He said, underpants.
A package from Indonesia contains a declaration for an amplifier, but the X-ray suggests it might contain something sinister.
It's an amplifier of some description, and there's a little telltale for myself. There's a stamp of some sort on the side, and it's been broken.
Whatever is inside has a very unpleasant smell.
It's a most unusual odour as far as a musky, smell of a wardrobe to me. Certainly it's a tactic used to either what they believe may put off dogs or strong odours to even put off the officers. Right, this battery appears to be really heavily wedged into the package, and of course we've got to try and make sure that we don't break any of the components. It may be a legitimate, item, and we don't want to damage it for the recipient. Now we must be getting close to what we're looking for. They don't look like manufacturer's parts. This is not what I would expect to find inside.
A passenger arriving on a tourist visa has told immigration he plans to work with the help of an agency in Adelaide.
How are you going to get to Adelaide? You don't even have enough money to purchase a ticket to Adelaide.
I've asked him to come and pick me up. I asked him for an email to come and meet me.
But Adelaide is... you have to fly. It is very far away.
I must have been thinking.
It's the other side of Australia.
Is it?
Yes.
And with only about $70 on him, the passenger is now telling immigration that he has access to more funds from a friend who's due to arrive in Sydney.
And you said someone was bringing you money on Saturday?
Well, he's supposed to be coming, yeah, because I paid for his flight.
Okay, so what's this person's name?
Alan Walker.
Alan Walker. And he's flying into Sydney on Saturday?
Well, that's allegedly, yeah.
So you don't have any of his flight details or anything?
No.
Okay. But what do you think your chances of getting this money?
Good possibility.
Okay, because I'm finding it hard to understand how you're going to find him in Sydney, how you're going to meet up, how you're going to get in contact with each other.
I'll just stay in the airport. I'll just wait.
Okay.
I wouldn't move him from the airport.
It's going to be very hard to, if you don't have any flight details or you haven't had contact with him and you've got no way of contacting him.
The only way I have is get in touch with my girlfriend by phone.
She's in Thailand.
Yeah.
And how would she get in contact with Alan Walker?
Won't you just go down where he used to drink, see if he's going for a drink?
There's a lot resting on John's mysterious friend. And meanwhile, Supervising Officer June is making a phone call to the employment agency in Adelaide, which could make or break this passenger's working holiday. At customs in Sydney, a passenger has attempted some sleight of hand tricks with clothing from his baggage.
He just grabbed a bundle of underpants and threw them in the bag, and there's a bag of pills there.
So where did the underpants come from?
We hadn't looked at those. Did you take them out of the bag?
Okay, so what are the tablets that you had wrapped in your underpants and you were throwing in there? What are they?
They're my protein.
Okay, and what's that?
Same, that's also protein.
Protein. So where did you buy these from?
From a gym over there.
A gym in where?
Syria.
In Syria. Oh, okay. Do you normally take these here as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are legal? They're not.
Yeah, legal.
Yeah. So just their protein, is that like a vitamin type of thing?
Yeah, vitamins got all this. This
Yep.
is like works your hormones, works them up. Not like needles and stuff.
What needles?
It's not needles because there's also needles called GH. A lot of people got mixed up with this and the needles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you mean needles? Are you talking steroids
Yeah,
needles? Okay,
yeah.
so these are not steroids?
No, these are legal.
Legal, okay. No worries.
I made sure of that. That's
Why did you have them wrapped in your undies and try and throw them back in your bag? Is there a reason for it, or?
not really.
You didn't want us to see them?
No, it's same. Nothing.
Okay. Have you any more of those?
No, it's it.
That's it?
Yep.
All right, mate, just stop what you're doing, okay? You're telling me these are protein, and I can appreciate that. However, when I've emptied these out here, you can see there's the light blue and the pink tablets. I'm not going to sit here and play games, but you and I know what they are, and you've got to be aware because you don't buy anything anywhere in the world that's packed in this way. Nobody's going to mix tablets for you in this manner.
Immigration has called an Adelaide employment agency to verify that they will be finding work for a passenger arriving from Thailand.
Mike said yes, he knew John, but that was as far as it was going to go. He might be able to get him interviews for jobs, but no sponsorship, no payment for a visa application, no travel, no accommodation, end of story.
So I have a few things I'd like to clarify. Now, my colleague spoke to Michael, and he is in Adelaide. His understanding is that he will arrange interviews for you, but you need to have the funds to attend those interviews. You need to pay for your tickets and your travel to the interviews.
Yeah.
You need to support yourself here in Australia until you find a job.
Yeah.
Okay, which you don't have access to any money.
No.
And John's only access to money from his friend Alan Walker isn't convincing Rebecca.
Okay, I really don't think this Alan Walker's turning up.
Well, I don't know. I hardly want to spend the night in the neck.
But what are you going to do if we immigration clear you today?
Come back and see you tonight. I won't be leaving the airport.
Yeah. You don't leave the airport, Alan Walker doesn't turn up.
And then I'm in shit state.
At Sydney's mail centre, Customs has discovered several suspicious packages taped inside this amplifier.
We have a fairly good idea of what to expect when we're what narcotics we're dealing with here, and so I can cut straight to a heroin test that I'm fairly confident will show us what this is. Okay, let's break the first vial. And hopefully when we break the second one, we'll get green, which you can clearly see coming up into the test kit now. That's as good an indication as we'll get for the presence of heroin.
I'm not going to sit here and play games, but
No,
you and
no,
I know
no,
what they are, and you've got to be aware because you don't buy anything anywhere in the world that's packed in this way. Nobody's going to mix tablets for you in this manner. Is there anything you want to tell me about these tablets?
Which ones?
About the pink and blue ones?
Pink and blue ones?
Yeah.
They told me there was, what's it called? No,
They're steroids?
No?
Okay, those pink and blue tablets are steroids.
The steroids?
So what I'm going to do now is I am going to caution you, okay, that you do not have to say or do anything, but anything that you do say or do may be used as evidence later on if it goes to court. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
They told me they were just normal...
Who told you?
The guys from the gym over there.
The guys from the gym. So the guys from the gym sold you this bottle as you've got it here with these tablets and the pink and blue.
I put them in together.
Right, okay. And you bought the pink and blue ones from the gym?
Yes.
Okay. So you just said to them what? I want to buy some...
I knew this one.
Yeah?
I go, you got anything stronger?
Anything stronger?
That works straight away.
Work straight away for what? What?
For the gym.
So I'm not understanding. If you're going to ask me to buy something, you need to explain to me what you want from me.
I asked him, like, what other proteins do you have? He told me these ones.
Right.
Yes.
So he told you they were protein?
Yes.
And you've never used steroids before?
No.
Okay. No worries. So you were aware that this wasn't normal protein?
No, I didn't know it was not normal protein.
Well,
I thought it was normal.
Yep. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open some of your pills here. I'm going to take them away and I'm going to have them tested.
Do whatever you want with them.
Okay.
I just want to go home.
You won't be going for a while. We're going to take you in an interview room and I'm going to put some tapes on and then I'll be calling our investigations department and they can make the decision what they're going to do about it.
This could be the end of the road for a passenger who's arrived from Thailand and wants to work in Australia.
The issue is he has no money. And his plan is to meet up with Alan Walker, but it's not very reliable. He doesn't have a phone number for him, flight details. He doesn't even know if he'll turn up.
The whole thing doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're not going to come halfway across the world with, what, $50 in your pocket on the hope that Alan Walker, the bloke that you drink with down the pub, is going to turn up in a couple of days' time. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
If we clear him, he'll be destitute. He's got no body, no money.
He doesn't fit into anything. He's just a man with a one-way ticket and no money.
Now Officer Rebecca will deliver the news to the passenger.
So your visa has been cancelled. Okay. You've been refused immigration clearance and will be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Yes.
Which means you'll be held in immigration detention until Saturday.
That's not a jail, it's an air.
It's not a jail. It's not here at the airport, but it's a centre. We'll stay there until we can get you on a flight back to Thailand, which is looking like Saturday.
I thought I was going to jail, that was worrying me. Getting deported and going to jail. Get that on your passport, you can't get anywhere.
Immigration kept watch to see if the passenger's mysterious travelling companion arrived in Sydney. He never arrived.
How many tablets you got in here?
120 pink ones and 120 blue ones.
And what are these?
There's a normal protein.
And what are these?
Proteins as well.
Place it on top of the barrier.
The passenger has agreed to a frisk search.
And you can change your mind at any time about doing the search.
The frisk search is negative.
All right, so what, if you just follow your trolley through with us? Did I just say follow, yeah. Basically, he's just in the room and we've put our tapes on, given him his rights and informed him of all the stuff. He claims to say that he didn't know they were steroids. He has 133 of one lot and 132 of a different kind.
The case will be referred to customs investigators. But right now, he's relieved to be reunited with his family.
Because I haven't seen my family for like 4 months, and this outside you can't see them, you can't have a smoke, you can't do nothing.
Customs investigators confirmed the pills were steroids. They were seized and the passenger was issued with a warning. In customs, a passenger just arrived from Hong Kong has been selected for a baggage search.
What's his name? Come here often?
Holiday. My friend.
Friend is here?
Yeah.
Is he or she outside?
No. Melbourne.
In Melbourne?
Go to Sydney today. Go to casino.
Oh, to the casino. For cards?
Yeah.
How many times have you been to Australia?
How many times?
5 times.
5 times.
And always for holiday?
Yeah, over.
Last year?
Last year.
Year before?
Yeah.
He seems to be here for just gambling and a bit of recreation, but he's been here on a number of times, so you know, I'd just like to sort of see how bona fide that is. This one here, is this your name here?
Customs also want to know about any potential criminal convictions he may have.
Do you have any criminal convictions?
No.
Do you have any?
No.
Have you been to court?
I go to court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that for?
I go to court?
Yeah.
Why?
No, did you? It's a question. Did you go to court for something?
I don't understand.
Did the police talk to you about something?
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Perhaps it's a simple language problem. But if he's hiding something in his past, it could seriously affect his chances of entering the country.
Do you have any criminal recordings?
No.
Any problems with police?
No.
None in Australia?
No.
You sure? None?
When passengers arrive into Australia, it's up to the officers at the border to make sure that each and every person has the right documentation. Today, this Mongolian passenger has arrived on a 3-week tourist visa.
It's possible that this lady is not here for tourist reasons, and then we will have to look at the real reasons that she is here and try to establish whether or not she's eligible for clearance on those grounds. Okay, my name is Paul. I'm with Immigration, as you know. We need to speak this morning about your travel to Australia to establish whether or not we can let you enter Australia. Okay, have you been to Australia before?
No, first time.
Okay, what do you do for work? What is your job?
Gynecologist.
Gynecologist?
Yeah.
Okay, why have you come to Australia?
I just want to travel here, just my holiday, then see my boyfriend here.
Amongst your other documents, I notice you have a number of certificates with you. You also have
this is
a large number of copies.
Yeah, copies.
You have a letter to say that you have been working at a hospital in Mongolia.
Yes.
You don't need to bring any of these documents with you.
Why?
Because you are here on holiday.
Yeah, holiday.
Immediately, I believe these point to the fact that you are not here as a tourist, and I suspect possibly that you are here for reasons other than a tourist.
For the tens of thousands of passengers arriving in Australia each day, the stress of international travel often flares up if there's a problem at the bench.
We have several items in this bag that we're not actually sure of. So one of our officers is going to have a look at it just to confirm whether or not it's maybe of something of quarantine concern. The passenger is a non-declarant.
Today at Sydney Quarantine, officers have just discovered fresh fruit in the small cabin bag of a very tired Swiss passenger.
Any fresh fruit isn't allowed to come into the country at all, ma'am. And this should have been declared include. Could actually be issued with a $220 fine today on the spot. I'm just going to check with my supervisor. I'll come back to you, okay, ma'am? Okay.
She's having a bad day.
Now really pissed off, sorry, because I had this delay from London, and my luggage also didn't come, and now I'm really down with my nerve. And
yes, we do understand, but you would have filled out the card prior to losing your bag.
Yeah.
And as it is your cabin bag, you would have been, in and out of the bag during the flight, so you would have been aware that you had the food in the bag. So we're going to have to actually issue you with an on-the-spot fine.
But why you can't just take that out and forget about it? It's really, I'm total stressed out now. And
we can understand that you've been travelling a lot and you're very tired. We can take that into account, mate.
And I forgot also my jacket on the airplane. It wasn't in my mind. I feel really sorry. I didn't check that.
Ma'am.
Did the police talk to you about something?
I don't know.
In customs, a passenger is suspected of providing false information about his past.
What language do you speak other than English?
English.
At this stage, I'm just trying to cross-check the information he's giving me with his documents, but he claims not to speak English, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and get an interpreter.
The passenger card is a legal document. Providing false information is a serious offence that could lead to a passenger being denied entry into Australia.
Okay, I have an officer to come and speak with you. He speaks Chinese.
Okay.
谢谢.
谢谢, no good. No happy.
No happy.
Officer Nick arrives to help translate and hopefully get to the bottom of exactly who this man is and why he's here.
What I was concerned about is the answers to the questions on the inwards passenger card in relation to this one here. Do you have any criminal convictions? My prime focus really is to try and get an honest answer out of that and maybe press him a bit further about any details.
Okay, sure. I'll see if I can communicate with him and go from there. Okay. 这是你第一次来吗？
没有啊，第5次了。
OK， 第5次。你是住在香港吗？
一直住在哪里？
你住在香港吗？
没有，
没有，在中国。
马来西亚。
马来西亚。
Officer Nick puts the question to the passenger.
这个问题，所以在马来西亚有没有跟警察有问题？
没有，
没有。He's indicating that no, he hasn't had any problems here in Australia or in Malaysia.
I need to get a definitive answer, even if it's a small thing, anything that's recorded at all.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
It seems to me that you are not here for a holiday.
Immigration officer Paul has found suspicious documents in the luggage of a passenger who says she only intends to use them for university enrolment.
For Australia, my boyfriend is Singaporean. Then he advised me, you bring all your certificates, then search together any university here. Yeah.
One of the reasons that you came to my attention was that a passenger spoke to us at the primary line and stated that you had been speaking about working in Australia whilst you were on the flight here. Why were you saying that? Why were you on the plane telling the other passenger that you were here to work? Is the passenger correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying that on the aircraft?
Mm-hmm.
Why were you saying that?
I don't know.
It seems funny to me that that passenger has told us that, and then we look at your baggage and we find all these. That is not a coincidence.
Stupid.
Well, it's a very serious issue.
So far, it has not been a great trip for this passenger. She's had a major delay in London and her luggage has been lost. Now a fine for undeclared food could add to the list of problems.
Yeah, and I'm really not willing to pay that fare. I'm really not willing to do that.
Okay. This is, up to you to make sure you fill this out correctly. Clearly says up here, ma'am, if you're unsure to tick yes. Well, we can have the matter deferred. We can give you 21 days leeway to pay, or you can have the matter dealt with in court, ma'am.
I'm just not willing to pay 220.
That's fair enough, ma'am. That's right.
Yeah.
We're giving you a remittance notice. You've got 21 days to pay it in.
Yeah. But still I have to pay it, you know.
What I've written here is that you've chosen to pay on a later date. We're going to issue with the remittance notice.
No, I have not chosen to pay late. I really don't.
So would you prefer to take it to court, would you?
No, also not.
I need to get a definitive answer, even if it's a small thing, anything that's recorded at all.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. 肯定是还是否？
没有。
肯定没有吗？ He's indicating definitely the answer is no to that.
Definitely no.
Definitely
That's
no.
Australia, Malaysia, or anywhere else. And that's any criminal offence at all.
没有，马来西亚没有。
马来西亚其他国家有吗？全部都没有吗？ Absolutely nothing. Nowhere.
Okay. All right.
什么问题？
He's just asking what sort of problem,
你
what's
们这
going
样
on.
没有礼貌，查有什么问题？
没有礼貌。
是不是没有礼貌？我的东西都拿完。
这是我们的人物
啊，
这是我们的人物。
你们有钱的吗？有钱这样查吗？
当然。
有钱这样查。
当然。
现在有问题吗？我是不是没有问题啊？
我不知道。
现在查了有没有问题？
这是我们的任务来看人的心理。
啊，现在
礼貌跟没有什么。
你们很麻烦，很没有礼貌。
没有礼貌。He's accusing us of not being polite with him.
As long as he understands that any time a person comes into or goes out of Australia, this is a part of our obligation, is to risk assess passengers and to sometimes examine them.
以前你来过有没有检查？
没有什么，没有这个，
这是你第一次
最严重了，
最严重的。
我来旅行用钱呢。
来旅行，OK。
我来你国家用钱呢。这么没有礼貌的。
But customs have more questions, and the passenger is not happy.
So you were speaking with the passenger about working in Australia, weren't you?
No, I no idea walking, and we just.
At Sydney Immigration, officers were tipped off by another passenger that this Mongolian gynecologist was bragging that she's here to work illegally.
What we might do is get some details of your boyfriend. How long has Raymond been in Australia?
He come here just yesterday. Yesterday.
Her boyfriend lives in Singapore and they claim to be meeting here for a romantic holiday. But officers will need to confirm her story.
Where did you meet?
This is from internet.
Internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how serious is it between you and Raymond?
Yeah, serious.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Will it
He's
go
my
to...
boyfriend. We going to marry.
Is he picking you up at the airport today?
Yes.
Okay.
Officer Paul will now have to try to locate her boyfriend while another officer examines her documents.
It would appear to me that she has documents that suggest she is here for reasons other than tourism, and we need to delve into that further to establish why she's here.
And if her boyfriend's story differs, her stay in Australia will be very brief. In Sydney quarantine, a Swiss passenger has had a bad start to her holiday. And now undeclared fruit in her cabin bag has resulted in a fine.
You know, why you can't do, I just go over there again, put that in a garbage bag, come back, and then
you can't do that, ma'am. Once you've cleared up there and you've cleared the customs barrier line and you come into the quarantine, that's it, ma'am. There's no going back that way.
I really didn't understand that airplane food is really the misunderstanding. Sorry. And I was tired to fill that out.
It clearly says any food at all, ma'am. And like I said earlier, if you're not sure next time you travel through, you're best to always just mark
yes. My first time here, I didn't know, really. Because I'm really overstressed, you know.
The reason that the airline give you the food is to eat the food on the aircraft.
Yeah. It's too much for me.
Okay, so the alternative, we have the alternatives are you either pay the fine now, take it to court,
No. Do you think I want to spend my holidays on court or what?
No, that's not what we're saying at all. But if you're entering Australia, it is expected, and as it says on the card, and you can read the card, you are expected to declare correctly.
But it was a misunderstanding. It was a misunderstanding. I thought it's what I'm packing at home.
But looking at it from a quarantine point of view, we have no alternative but to issue you with a on-the-spot fine. We do understand that you are weary from your journey, so we'll have to ask you to make a decision whether you're paying now or whether it goes to court.
But yeah, I'm giving up. I'm really giving up. And I'm pissed. I'm completely pissed, you know. It's really...
So what is your decision?
Yeah, I'm paying, of course. I don't want to spend the whole day on the airport.
So the passenger has decided to pay the fine, but now there's another problem.
The lady has several credit cards, which unfortunately have all been declined. She managed to find the money. She paid it. She was a bit iffy about paying that.
I think you can find another solution instead of pissing off people, you know.
Just tell him to stand over there.
John's an Evian.
Stand over there.
Officer Maurice studies the passenger's documents, looking for information that could reveal whether or not he's hiding a criminal past.
Who lives at this address here?
My friend.
Your friend?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the friend's name?
I don't know. My friend name?
Hey, just calm down, okay? Calm down.
I'm not happy, you know.
Oh,
What time?
I can tell, but just calm down. Right?
What time? You see?
I'm not yelling at you, so don't yell.
3 hours. Yeah.
Don't do it,
You mother bullshit. Rubbish.
I'm going to speak to immigration, and I'll just see where we go from here. All I want to do is just make sure that they're happy to clear him, and then if they're happy, he can go and do what he needs to do.
Officer Maurice speaks with immigration as Nick attempts to calm the passenger down.
Would you like something to drink, sir? Can I bring you a drink of water?
Water.
Like a drink of water?
Yeah, please.
The passenger is getting quite aggravated for reasons I can't quite understand. He just seems to be sort of going off on strange tangents, and it's just weird sort of behaviour. They may have something to hide, or maybe he just is genuinely upset, and maybe he's tired. There's lots of factors that can influence people's behaviour. So maybe it's something very innocent. Maybe there's something underneath that. It's hard to say.
And despite the efforts of officers, the passenger remains agitated.
No problem? No problem. You know?
An anxious passenger waits while an officer has examined her documents and is satisfied that they are genuine. Officer Paul has located her boyfriend and he's confirmed her story.
He tells me that she's here on a holiday to visit some friends in Adelaide, and also to examine the opportunities for coursework or study that she might continue over here. So, and he said that's the reason she's brought the documents with her. Okay. On discussing your case with my manager, we've decided that we will allow you to enter Australia this morning so that you can come in and have your holiday. You can do some small amount of study if you wish, not a problem with that. So that's the good news. Your visa does not allow any further stay at this stage. So provided you are happy with those conditions and you understand those, you are free to go. Okay? Cool.
Thank you very much.
And it's been a long wait for Raymond, who will now finally get to see his girlfriend.
Pretty anxious actually. Yeah, I can't wait to see her. Yeah.
In customs, officers are about to wrap up their investigation into a Malaysian man suspected of lying about his criminal past on his passenger card.
At this point, customs is finished with the gentleman, and it only took a while because we had to have the chat back and forth because he was so upset. because he doesn't have so much stuff there. But immigration would like to finish off and have a chat with him up the top there. So we need to pack up his stuff and take them up to the immigration office.
收起来，但是现在移民部现在要跟你说一下。
移民部，
移民部，
又到移民部，
移民部。
I'm not convinced, and immigration at this stage say that they'd really like to talk to him further, perhaps a little interview, and talk to him about his previous travel and what he intends to do here. So one of the ways we can do that is basically to have a chat further in an office up there and just pose some further questions. And then if everything checks out okay, then the gentleman is free to go and enjoy the sunshine. But until then, we really need to cover some ground in terms of what his purpose for coming to Australia is.
Immigration discovered the passenger did in fact have undeclared criminal convictions related to credit card fraud. He was refused entry and returned voluntarily to Hong Kong later that day. Today, Customs is interested in this British backpacker, who has more than just erratic travel movements to spark officers' interest.
He was in India for 2 months, and then he went to Bangkok for 40 days. Out of those 40 days, he went to Malaysia for 7 days, and then came back to Bangkok, and next day he came here. So when he arrived, we checked his bags, and we tested on the atomizer for drugs, and it came for positive for methamphetamines.
Officers have also found an amount of undeclared prescription medication.
71 tablets of diazepam. It's undeclared. He has no prescription for that. So undeclared diazepam out. No prescription, not allowed.
Whatever they're called, whatever I got for sleeping, the doxycycline or diazepam or whatever.
So you went to the doctor for those?
Yeah, I went to the doctor when I first got to India because it was too hot and too noisy and intense, and I was just like, can I have something to sleep? And I gave it.
It's hardly the best start to his holiday here, but what they discover after swabbing his bags has officers wondering exactly what else this passenger may be trying to bring into Australia. Quarantine's canine officers are trained to detect food and plant items. And today in Melbourne, some bags from Thailand have been picked out at the baggage carousel.
Dogs responded to the outside zip, so really strong response. We've opened it. Hidden inside a sock was a lot of plant material.
Because of the strong dog reaction, quarantine officers must do a 100% search of the passenger's luggage.
So do you have any food with you today?
No, no.
So you have no food left with you?
No, no.
All the food's gone? She says she packed her own bag.
Heaps of stuff in here.
She's
got heaps of stuff in here.
On inspection, officers Nadia and Peter are intrigued to discover that her bags appear to be filled with food and quarantine risk items that should have been declared.
What about these items here, the seeds? What were you going to do with the seeds? Were you going to grow them?
Yes, sometimes.
Sometimes. So you know that you can grow a plant from these seeds?
Yeah, and give to someone have friend.
Okay. Now in this one here, in this plastic bag here, you see the ants in this bag? You have ants inside, live ants inside the bag.
Yeah.
Each day, thousands of packages arrive at Sydney's mail centre from all over the world. Today, the X-ray shows that this parcel contains organic material, so it's passed on to Quarantine Officer Belinda for a closer look.
Got a parcel here from Vietnam. We tend to get quite a lot of food stuff out of Vietnam, so I'll just see if I can get the X-ray image from the parcel. Just inside the parcel here, you can see that there's lots of different packages. Looks like food, so we'll just have to check just to see if there's anything prohibited or if anything may have any infestations or anything in that. Got some lollies here. Doesn't seem to have any ingredients listed in English, so I'll just check those out just to make sure that they've got nothing of quarantine concern in them. Seem to have a fruit paste on the outside, but underneath it's a blue, it's like carbon paper. See. very sticky. We've definitely got something here.
In customs, officers have just had drug readings from the bags of a British backpacker. They also discover photographs from his travels that could land this passenger in serious trouble.
We've just been checking and there are some pictures that suggest that people have been ingesting some sort of illegal drug. Can you explain that? You can't explain it?
I don't know I don't know, mate.
I'm sure you can understand we find pictures like that we need to delve a little bit deeper to see what's actually going on here. Okay, so we need you to be 100% honest with this, okay?
Customs suspect this passenger may have packed more than clothes and cheap souvenirs from his travels, so officers decide to frisk him.
Okay, it's very
Do you have any questions?
It's like, is this the last step in the procedure, or is it just a frisk search so I can go to the toilet and then I come back and we keep going?
Well, it depends on the search yourself. So, do you consent to the frisk search? This officer here will be conducting the search.
If you want me to stop at any time, just tell me to stop. You don't have any sores on your body except for that?
No, nothing too bad.
Okay, stand out here with your arms out. Just going to start from the back and do one side of the body. You have something in the pocket there?
A passenger returning to Australia has not declared any of the food that officers have found throughout her bags. And some of the items are considered high risk.
She's got fresh plant material that she hasn't declared. She's got some nuts and other dry plant materials. Possess a high risk. There's only really one option that we can take at this time.
You have not declared these items on your incoming passenger card. You declared food. I asked you what food, you said you threw the food out, and then we found all these items here, as well as the fresh leaves and the seeds, okay? So you've made a false declaration on your passenger card, and you've made a false declaration to me. Today I'll be issuing you with a quarantine infringement notice for $220.
But I have got money for you.
You don't have money for me?
Yes.
That's fine, but you've made a false declaration here. You need to pay this fine. You need to deal with this. You've bought in items that are prohibited.
Yeah, I know, but...
And you did not declare them.
I did not.
You can go to court for bringing in items like this. This is very serious coming into Australia.
If you don't want, you put the rubbish.
Do you understand that, ma'am? I could take you to court.
We've definitely got something here.
This colourful bag of lollies has caught the attention of quarantine officers at Sydney's mail centre. Something unexpected has been found inside.
And it looks like a white powder of some kind, which is very unusual. So I think Customs might be interested in having a look at those.
Then Officer Belinda discovers there's more than one packet.
Also got another packet of the lollies that were similar to the previous one we had with the powder in it. So also send that one to Customs as well. They'll possibly have the same things in them, but I won't open those. I'll leave that for Customs to open.
Whatever is inside these lolly wrappers is certainly not food, so it's no longer a quarantine concern.
I just sliced that open and it seems to have some kind of white powder inside there.
It looks like it's carbon paper.
Yeah.
The sender of this parcel has tried hard to conceal whatever is inside these lollies. Officer Gisette is about to test the substance and find out exactly what it is. In Melbourne, an Australian resident is in trouble with quarantine for bringing in a large amount of prohibited food.
Your options are you pay for the quarantine infringement notice or you have the matter dealt with in court. I'm sure you don't want to go to court because you could end up with a criminal conviction. As it states here, you pay the fine today. It's $220. You go to court, you could face charges for up to $66,000. $1,000.
I haven't got money. I must pay the house.
I understand you must pay the house. We all have to pay our bills, but we do also have to pay our fines.
I give you 1 year.
No, you can't give me 1 year.
Yeah, and every time I get money, I pay for you. Something like that.
No. You have a fine to pay, ma'am.
You want to cut my neck? And better I did. That's all for you. Cut here, my neck.
In customs, officers have begun a frisk search on a British backpacker after traces of methamphetamine and morphine were found on his luggage.
Thank you. Is there any problems with that search? No problem.
The frisk uncovers nothing.
So you still need to go to the toilet? Yep.
So officers take the passenger to the toilet. But he opts out after realising it will be under the watchful eye of the customs escort.
He's all right? No, he's not going. He doesn't want to go in front of anyone.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Are there any other reasons why you don't want to go to the toilet? Okay. Even though a frisk was done, are you worried that something will be found on your body or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Have you swallowed anything? Any illegal drugs in your stomach?
Shouldn't be, no.
Have you inserted any into any orifice?
No.
So did you take anything while you're overseas?
No, I got offered lots of things, and I had them in my hand, but I didn't ingest any of them.
Are you feeling okay? You seem to be shaky a little bit.
I'm absolutely knackered and hungover to buggery.
I've got to speak to this officer for a moment, okay?
What do you think? We should assess him for internal? I think we should. He's very nervous.
In Melbourne, Customs is talking to a Malaysian man about his frequent trips to Australia that he claims are for holidays.
So you're here for 2 months again?
1 month or 2 months. I'm not sure yet. See whether I got money to survive or not.
Officer Olga wants to assess his story and make sure that a holiday is all that he is here for.
What are your plans here for 2 months?
After here, I will directly go to Sydney to meet my friend because I got a lot of friends in Sydney.
And where are you staying in Melbourne?
In the Crown Hotel.
So you're hoping to find accommodation at Crown Casino?
Can I say like that?
Yeah. How much cash are you carrying with you today?
This time I take 200 cash, then I take a credit card and my bank card, ATM card.
Do you work? You do?
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
Now already stopped.
So you don't work?
Yeah, I quit already.
Okay.
Yeah.
And could I please see your airline ticket?
You mean for back one?
To go back to Malaysia, yes.
No, because I come from China.
You don't have a return ticket?
No.
You didn't?
Ma'am, what have we decided? You want to sit here all day?
Yeah, why not?
4 hours after landing, a passenger from Thailand is still trying to argue her way out of paying her quarantine fine.
You talk to me, yep. I can't go home. I am tired. You don't know how old I am. 72 years old.
So...
Sit here.
I'm not making you sit here, ma'am. You're the one that wants to sit here.
How
I'm
long?
not making you sit here.
I sit here, how long you think?
You said you wanted to go home, you were tired. I'm not making you sit here. You're the one that's sitting here. So then you pay for the fine and you go home.
At Sydney Airport, Customs have stepped up their investigation into a British backpacker.
Well, we're suspecting that perhaps he could be carrying a small amount of drugs, perhaps for personal use, or he may possibly be carrying internally. We're not sure at the moment. That's why we just need to dig a little bit deeper and see what he's able to tell us.
Traces of narcotics were found on his belongings, and photos have been discovered suggesting he may have been involved in drug use.
He just said that was probably when I was in India and I don't have heroin, it was probably ketamine before I was cooking up something, and he was fairly happy to tell us about that. And
personal drug use is not what these officers are interested in. They want to make sure he's not carrying anything across the border. So Supervising Officer Michael speaks with the passenger and makes a decision whether or not to send him to hospital for an internal examination.
I've gone into a little bit further, and as much as a lot of his story does make sense and he admits to drug use and everything, he's the type of person who plans everything pretty well. I mean, his ticket and everything was bought well in advance, so he's done a lot of planning, so I think he's a legitimate traveller.
The passenger was allowed to leave the airport to enjoy the rest of his holiday, not at all surprised by the attention he received from customs.
Maybe I just look like a dirty, seedy criminal type. Maybe it's the beard, don't know. Could be anything. Later, man. Have a nice day, sir.
Customs is trying to determine why this passenger has come to Melbourne.
You alright?
I just don't know. Last time asked me many times, today, this time also asked me many times. Yeah.
He's here for 2 months, he's unemployed and has no return ticket.
So where will you go after the airport?
Take a walk. Just walk only to the casino.
Officers' first concern is that the passenger may be bringing illegal goods across the border. A thorough bag search will help to allay this suspicion.
It looks pretty clear and consistent.
And I'll get Bod's and we'll give him a frisk.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to read both sides, okay? Because I need your consent and I need you to understand your rights, okay? So have a read. Take your time.
Yeah.
You consent to the search?
Yeah.
You consent? Okay, can be done here or in a private room?
I think better in the private room.
In Melbourne, a body frisk of a passenger is negative, and after a thorough customs search, officers think they may have uncovered his true intentions.
Australian bank account. You're working here?
No.
He's got a Australian bank card, which indicates that he may be working here in Australia. If he's here on holiday, why does he need a, an Australian bank account?
What concerns us is you're here for a long time. You're here to work.
I'm come here to work?
Yeah. You have Australian bank account, Bendigo Bank.
The officers are now satisfied he's not a smuggler, but they have contacted immigration and they will decide if he's on the next flight back home.
So how do you plan to stay here for 1 month? Do you plan to stay here for 1 month?
Okay, honestly, I come here, I just see my luck, whether I can win or lose in the casino there. If lose everything, then I will go back, like that.
Right. Just when we're ready, come with me to your office. Okay.
The passenger was escorted to an immigration interview room, where it was determined that he would need to work illegally to fund his stay and the return ticket home. A white powder found in a packet of lollies from Vietnam has been taken away for testing. Customs officer Gisette suspects the substance is cocaine, so she conducts a narcotic test to see if her suspicions are correct.
I'm gonna try and get a sample.
Only a trace of the substance is required to do a nick test. By breaking the vials, chemicals are released which then react to the substance.
Then it should turn, for cocaine to be positive, it should turn blue at the bottom and pink on top. There it is, there's the blue at the bottom and pink on top. So it's definitely cocaine.
This could be a big find for both customs and quarantine.
It's a very different, very unusual day for us today. It's quite rare that you see something like that coming through.
All the other passengers off a flight from Thailand have cleared customs and quarantine, except for one, who is refusing to pay her fine.
And talk yap to me.
The passenger has finally had enough, and after 5 hours, so has Officer Nadia.
I need you to come this way, ma'am. Come on.
In a last-ditch effort to get payment, the passenger is taken over to the duty counter, but her standoff continues.
I think she's just had enough. She's refusing to do whatever, and she wanted to sit down on the floor. She said she's tired. I said, if you're tired, go home. She says she doesn't understand me. She understands me quite clearly. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't.
Quarantine officers are now left with only one option.
So yeah, thank you. Thank you.
The passenger is escorted out of the airport by the police and has been given 21 days to pay the fine. The passenger was given the option to pay the fine in 21 days or take the matter to court. On day 21, the fine was paid. A female passenger carrying little luggage has come to the attention of customs.
She's come from Israel to first travel to Australia, and her boyfriend, who she met 2 months ago, paid for her ticket.
Can you tell me who your boyfriend lives with in Brisbane?
She says he's going to pick her up today. So she's got limited luggage. She's here for 5 weeks. So for 5 weeks stay, that's not a lot of luggage.
But there's another concern. Customs has just tested the passenger's hairbrush and it's come back positive for heroin.
It's very funny that it came up with a reading for heroin.
It can't be. I'm from a very good family.
Well,
you look like, you see me like this.
I mean, you are the only person who would touch this hairbrush.
Yes.
That's why we're going to do another test so that we can be doubly sure.
Yeah.
In Brisbane quarantine, Officer Phil has spotted something that he wants to take a closer look at in the bags of this Swiss passenger.
So we're looking for that tin. Yep, that's the one. So what exactly have we got here?
Oh, they're flowers.
They're flowers?
They are from Switzerland. I have a house in Thailand and I want to bring them. I was going to Thailand afterwards, but I forgot.
Any plant-related items are considered a very high risk.
Down here on question 7, wooden articles, plants, parts of plants, herbs, seeds, bulbs, straw and nuts. Now, is there any reason why you didn't declare these?
I forgot it. That's all. My wife gave it to me.
Yep.
In Bangkok, because we met in Bangkok, and she gave it to me because my bag was full, so I took it.
Outside, we've got over 40 signs there saying you have to declare things like this to quarantine.
I've just forgotten.
We've got the videos on the plane and we've got all of us standing here.
I never bring something to Australia, but I just...
Well, you've brought something today, mate, and I can tell you now this isn't good because that is a really, really large amount of seeds.
That's all I can say.
A young woman has gained the attention of immigration officers because she is returning to Australia after an unusually short time back home in Korea.
Miss Song has arrived here this morning on the Korean airline flight. She's come back pretty quickly, like it's not even a month. She's come back again on an electronic tourist visa. So we're just checking.
Officers are suspicious about her reason for returning so quickly, so they will now interview the passenger to try and determine if she's telling the truth.
It is an offence against Section 2341 of the Migration Act to A. present forged or false documents, B. make false or misleading statements. The penalty for any of these offences is 10 years imprisonment or a fine of $110,000 or both. Why have you come to Australia?
I came to travel.
How long do you intend to stay in Australia?
3개월 정도 있을 예정입니다. I am planning to stay in Australia for 3 months.
So, did you work at all in Korea?
네네. At the moment, I am on leave.
Okay, up until when did you work?
여름 8월에 있습니다. 8월까지 일했다고요? 네네. I worked until August last year.
So after August you haven't worked?
네. 날짜가요. The last time I've ever worked was June.
Okay. Interpreter, she said to you before that she worked up until August. Now she's saying June. I've warned her before about telling us the truth.
Back in Sydney, after one positive reading for traces of heroin, a second test on the belongings of an Israeli passenger has come back negative. So now a third test will be done. Customs will now also focus their attention on the reason for the passenger's visit to Australia. She says she's here to see her boyfriend, Monty.
Is Monty the only person that you know in Australia? So he lives alone?
He lives alone.
So you booked the ticket 2 weeks ago for her?
Yes, he booked it when he was in Israel, yes.
You didn't want to come to Australia?
No, I wanted to be in my house with my pupils, with my beloved son.
So why did you come?
Because they convinced me it will do me good.
How long have you and Monty been dating?
Like 2 months. I told Diane.
2 months?
Approximately.
So how long have you known him for? 2 months? Only 2 months? Yeah?
Customs decide further investigation is needed.
I'm going to detain you for a frisk search, okay?
For what?
It's called a frisk search. You've come a long way. It's your first time here. Somebody else has paid for your ticket, and we got heroin readings off your.
Can't be.
Australia receives hundreds of thousands of packages per year through the mail system.
These are the express mail parcels, and when we finish here, we've got registered parcels as well to go. It keeps us busy all day.
The presumption that all this mail will not be checked provides a tempting method of trying to smuggle small amounts of drugs concealed within standard items.
In this area, we find drugs from between 5 grams and ½ kilo. That's about the biggest quantity that we find. But we've had cases where they pack 5 or 10 grams in letters and send 1,000 letters. When you add all that up, that amounts to a few kilos.
If someone was to attempt to import illegal items through the post, people like Arthur are our front line of defence.
What I'm looking for is, I read the declaration, where it's going to, who it's going to, and then look at the image and see how the two compare. Now, this one here, the declaration showed that it was toys, but as you can see in the middle here, there's an amount that they look like tablets to me, so it warrants enough for me to do an inspection on the parcel.
Have you travelled to Australia before?
Yes, many times.
Many times?
Yes.
Seeds like this, you know, I mean, there could be all sorts of diseases and pathogens in there.
Yeah, I know, I still got it.
Do you even know what sort of seeds they are?
No, I think they're flowers, but I'm not very sure.
Pour all these seeds out and see if there's any other contaminants in there. I mean, there's all sorts of extraneous material in here. There's little sticks, twigs, bits of dirt. I'll tell you now, this does not look good at all. I might go and have a chat with my supervisor about this, and I'll be back with you in a sec, OK?
Immigration officers are talking to a young Korean passenger, trying to determine her real reason for returning so quickly to Australia.
She's here for 3 months, and she's already been here for 6 months. So, and she's mentioned on the IPC that she's a housewife, and she's not, and she's single.
She's single?
She's single, and she doesn't have a job in Korea at the moment as well.
Oh, OK.
So therefore, there isn't much incentive to return to Korea except for her parents.
Yeah.
And she's bought like a whole heap of luggage for 3 months.
Yeah, that's right. She does have a lot of
luggage.
The inconsistencies in the woman's story and the fact that she doesn't have a job to go back to has officers concerned.
She's got to give us the right information. She said to you before that she worked up until August. Now she's saying June. So could you just ask her to give us the proper information?
여보세요? 네, 2005년 8월입니다. Okay, she changed again, and that was August.
Okay, basically she hasn't worked since August last year. She came here in January of this year and did not leave till the 30th of June. So she's an unemployed person back in Korea. Is that right?
Officers are concerned this young Korean has no way to support herself while she's here.
All right, interpreter.
Yeah.
I'm going to suspend this interview.
Yeah.
And at this point of time, I'm not satisfied that she is a genuine tourist.
The reason why we want to frisk you is because you don't have a lot of luggage, okay? You've come a long way, it's your first time here. Somebody else has paid for your ticket, and we got heroin readings off your...
Can't be.
This passenger is giving customs reasons for concern.
We have to try and allay our suspicions, I guess, by going further with the frisk search, etc.
While the passenger is taken for a frisk search, customs try to find her boyfriend Monty, who she claims to be visiting.
What do you want me to say? Go to arrivals?
The frisk search is clear.
No?
But there is still no sign of Monty.
What does he look like? Dark hair, blonde?
I don't know. It's fair.
Fair?
Fair, but he already has his white belt tall.
Went down to the domestic transfer and had a look there and he's not there.
You can't locate Monty. He's not outside.
He's not outside?
Over in immigration, officers are trying to work out if this Korean passenger is a genuine tourist. But she's just revealed another reason for being here.
I just came to look after my nephew child.
But at this stage, her answers are not convincing immigration.
So
who pays for her? Who pays her accommodation and everything?
Well, the nephew looks after her. She didn't answer my question when I did ask her how is he going to support her. They're both on student visas. I have to go back and ask her. But at this point of time, it looks like she doesn't have any incentive to return back to Korea. She's not employed. And all she's doing is looking after the child.
Does she get paid for looking after the child?
No, no new remuneration involved. That's what she said.
With little incentive to return to Korea, no form of income and no right to work in Australia, the woman's case hangs in the balance. At the Sydney Mail Centre, Customs Officer Arthur has flagged a suspicious package picked up through the customs inspection line.
The declaration read toys, but I think there's more than toys inside this carton. It indicated to me tablets. What type of tablets, I don't know. I'm going to open it and find out what they are.
Often there is a perfectly reasonable explanation for a package's contents.
They could be lollies. So until I open up and have a look, but once again, why need to declare that they were lollies? You just had toys only.
By law, Australia Post is required to open packages before customs officers begin their inspection.
It's all full of toys. I guess this is the parcel with the tablets.
The heavily wrapped package already stands out from the other items.
It's all toys as declared. This has been very well packed, so I don't think it's lollies. I've got blue tablets.
Got a businessman who's just come in from Singapore via Hong Kong. He has just brought in a massive tin of undeclared seeds.
What sort of seed?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, we might have a look at that.
In Brisbane, Quarantine Supervisor Darryl needs to decide what's next for the passenger.
We'll have a look at this first and we'll see what necessary action we have to take. There are a number of seeds there that we have no idea what they are, and he doesn't even know what they are. He knew he had them and he should have declared them. So without knowing exactly what they are, in this case he's going to be issued with an infringement notice for $220.
Going to be issued with a quarantine infringement notice.
Yeah.
As I explained to you before, once you make your declaration and you sign the card, it becomes a legal document. Had the situation been very slightly different, it would have been a prosecution, you would have been going to court, and you would have been looking at thousands of dollars. So in this instance, consider yourself very lucky.
It will
today.
never happen again, I'm
Make sure
about
that it doesn't. Make sure that it doesn't, because I can tell you...
This is worth nothing for me, really.
You won't be so lucky next time round.
All right.
Okay?
Give it another go.
A test done earlier on this Israeli passenger's belongings was positive for traces of heroin. So now officers are conducting other tests.
Nothing. No point doing any more. 2 negatives after the first positive, so it just must have been a false reading.
However, there are still concerns about the passenger's reason for being here. So they can confirm her story, officers need to find her boyfriend Monty.
Okay, you're expecting Monty, who's going to be out there to pick you up?
Yes, when you're going through the customs, I'm going to wait for you.
The problem is there's too many people for me to see him, so I wanted to ring him on the mobile. Yeah. Do you have another mobile number for him? Well, this one's disconnected, so this must be an old card. That's his...
No,
this one.
This one.
No, that's a landline. Can't find him either. Can't find him.
Immigration officers trying to verify a Korean woman's story have just discovered a relative waiting for her, and this might change everything.
The passenger who I've been interviewing is saying that they're here on a student visa. So I just want to know how they're going to support her, who's been paying for her to come here in and out of Australia for all her travels and everything.
The local relation provides some much-needed verification and confirms that they are all being supported by their parents back home in Korea.
I'm happy at the moment with the reasons her relative has provided me. So it's just a matter of discussing with Sarul and making a decision. She hasn't misled me in any way. She hasn't. Yes, she was a bit iffy about giving her employment details, but she really hasn't misled me in any way. She's told the truth that she came, she looked after the child before, and she's looking after the child now. But as family, you have to be there for each other.
Yeah. Maybe because it's a Korean child and the parents are both going to school.
Yeah, and they're not working here.
That's right, and the kid can't understand English. They can't afford to put them in a babysitter or a childcare centre, which is going to cost them a couple of $100 extra a week.
Yeah, it is a benefit to Australia. They're paying a lot of fees for the university, and they're not relying on any kind of benefits here in Australia. So, I mean, when you look at
you weigh the two against you. I'm quite happy with that,
So Sunita will now give the passenger a warning. And the good news.
Basically, this time, we're warning you to keep in mind that the electronic travel visa to come to Australia is for tourism purposes only, okay? All right, we'll let you go, but you can't go out and work.
Yeah, she said she will remember that.
Okay? All right.
And in her enthusiasm to leave the interview room and meet her relatives, the passenger has become a little forgetful.
Miss Song, wait for me. I have to give you your passport back. You can't go without your passport.
Customs is opening a large package containing blue tablets, which has been packed into a box of children's toys.
Now, I'm starting to think they are ecstasy tablets because of this little marking that it shows on the tablet. This is a very sizable concealment. From the size of it, it could be anything up to 400 tablets. I've been told they sell for about $50 each, so there's quite a lot of money involved in this consignment.
Arthur will now conduct a test to determine exactly what the pills are.
Now I'm going to use the narco test kit. You put a little bit of the tablet, the ingredients, into this kit, and it's supposed to turn a dark blue colour. Well, there you go. There you are. See the colour? It's gone dark blue. That's a sign that it's ecstasy.
passenger is being escorted by officers into the arrivals area in order to meet her boyfriend Monty and confirm her story.
Well, because he might think you didn't come, you see. Because you're here.
Why, but he knows I'm on the flight.
Does he? How does he know?
Because he was phoning me that day also.
The anxious passenger scans the crowd for her boyfriend and, after a few tense moments, finally, Monty appears.
Here, and then I went where you were.
They detained me. They didn't let me go.
We just wanted to confirm that Monty existed and that Monty was there. She told us that he was over there recently and we couldn't actually find a travel movement for that. And sometimes it just helps if his story matches her story. He gave the same account as she did, and so we were happy with that, and so we let it go.
I was so worried about her, because she's not travel-wise,
Had a great holiday now. Everything's turned out well.